Yo, yo, yo. Let me tell y'all something real quick. This political game been looking like a bad episode of Love and Hip Hop, with all the infighting and backstabbing. And today we gotta talk about the inevitable WWE-style folding chair beatdown that's coming from MAGA.
While now, but do you have any positive or hopeful outlook for the U.S.? Seeing my friends get sucked in and genuinely harbor vitriol while thinking they've got the moral high ground is making me very worried. You know, the positive example, the positive thing to look for is MAGA has exploded in terms of people. They are a much bigger tent now of people that have been brought in. All of those people are not ideologically aligned with each other. There is going to be massive fracturing and schism. I mean, it's already happened even before Trump has been in office. We saw it around the H-1B issue. It's going to happen around things like regulation of crypto and finance markets, and it's going to happen around tax cuts and balancing the budget, and it's going to happen around immigration and foreign policy. These are all going to be issues that people are split on. And while all of this is happening, the Democrats have a chance to get their shit together outside of the spotlight. So the Democrats can get this DNC stuff going in a way. They've got time to restructure and reform because we're not in the spotlight governing right now. Any votes are going to be attributed to the Republicans. There are small electoral wins that they can try to carve out, whether it's this upcoming Wisconsin Supreme Court thing or some other like state issue. And then hopefully, because the incumbent party tends to do poorly in the midterms, and I believe the House and Senate map, I think, look good for the Democrats in 2026. It's possible that if everything goes in like a fairly likely direction, that 2026 could be a really good electoral year for Democrats, and then you kind of like push from there. You know, that's like the brights right now. But okay, so everybody that is like asking these questions, okay, you're losing it. I don't know how to train you guys to not be okay.
You already know the vibes. When a movement gets too big, too loud, and too cocky, the cracks start to show. And trust me, the cracks in the Trump train ain't little hairline fractures no more. We talking full-on, pipe bursting, water everywhere type fractures, and all it's gonna take is one more push for this whole thing to come crumbling down like a Jenga tower on a bumpy table. Now, the internet's resident philosophical gamer-turned-political commentator, Destiny, been out here dropping takes on how MAGA ain't really one big happy family no more. And for once, bro might actually be spitting facts. Think about it. Back in the day, MAGA was all about Trump. He was the Don Dada, the one and only, the orange overlord that had everybody from soccer moms to incels ready to throw hands for the cause. But like every movement that gets too big for its britches, the unity starts to crumble when folks realize they don't all actually rock with the same policies, the same strategies, or the same future for America. Now, all these different factions are sitting at the same table, passing plates, but side-eyeing each other, just waiting for somebody to drop a fork, so they got a reason to throw hands. See, the thing about MAGA is that it started off as a club for people who felt left out, who felt like the big bad government was out here giving participation trophies to everybody except them. But once Trump blew up the political scene like a SoundCloud rapper with one viral hit, the movement started to attract all types of folks who ain't really cut from the same cloth. You got your diehard nationalists, your libertarian, don't tread on me types, your culture war influencers, your conspiracy theorists, and even the Wall Street brothers trying to get richer while pretending to care about American values. Problem is, when you got a tent this big, somebody gonna start beefing over space. And that's exactly what's happening. They already been bumping heads over the whole H-1B visa situation. That was the first sign of urine in the water. You got one side screaming, "We need more skilled workers," while the other side trying to deport anybody who so much as orders extra guac in a Mexican accent. Then you got the finance boys, the crypto evangelists, and the small government types who are staring down the barrel of regulation wars. Some of them want a Wild West, no-rules market. Others realize that if they let that rock, they'll be jobless in 2 years when the whole economy implodes. And don't even get started on the real, old-guard conservatives who still think budgets should be balanced and debt should be reduced. Bro, MAGA ain't even talking the same language no more. Now, let's talk about the fact that MAGA basically went full reality TV mode, turning every political debate into an episode of Real Housewives of Congress. The problem is, the culture war was never meant to be a long-term strategy. It was just a hype train to get the base riled up. But now, it's turned into its own beast, and different factions within MAGA don't even agree on how to fight it anymore. You got the Christian nationalism types who want to turn the country into the political version of an Amish village. Then you got the internet edgelords who just want to troll and make content for their homies in Discord. At some point, when you build an entire movement off of owning the libs instead of actual policies, you eventually run out of libs to own. What you gonna do then? MAGA was always built on outrage, but that outrage gotta be directed somewhere. And now it's starting to turn inward. When you got one side saying, we need to take over the government and reshape it, and the other side saying, nah, burn the whole thing down, you already know the internal civil war coming. It's just a matter of who throws the first punch. And don't think for a second that Trump himself ain't watching all this like a messy auntie at Thanksgiving. The man was the glue that held all these folks together. But now he looking at all these new influencers, these up-and-coming MAGA stars, and he ain't exactly thrilled about it. These folks ain't just riding his wave no more. They trying to surf past him. You think Trump got in this game to share the spotlight? Nah, bruh. If it ain't about him, he don't care. But this is where it gets dicey. 'Cause some of these newer MAGA influencers don't feel the need to kiss the ring like they used to. We're talking about folks who see Trump as a stepping stone, not the final boss. You think folks like Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis, or even the far-right influencers who ain't politicians, yet are just gonna bow out gracefully when Trump's gone? Nah, they're trying to be the next big thing, and that means they gonna have to take some shots at the old man eventually. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and pretty soon, the old MAGA heads and the new boys gonna be at each other's throats. Destiny made a point about how while all this is going down, the Democrats actually got some breathing room to figure their stuff out. And he ain't wrong. While MAGA is too busy trying to figure out whether they want to be an isolationist movement, a libertarian movement, a nationalist movement, or just a straight-up chaos movement, the Democrats get a rare moment to sit back and strategize. Midterms might have been shaky for them, but 2026? If they play their cards right, that might be the year they start really picking up momentum. And here's the crazy part. Some of the old-school Republicans might actually start shifting back towards that normal conservative lane. You know, the folks who were Republicans before MAGA took over. The ones who actually cared about fiscal policy and not just triggering the libs. If MAGA eats itself alive, some of these folks might start looking for a new home. And that might mean a GOP split that leaves MAGA looking less like a dominant force and more like a rogue faction screaming from the sidelines. So where does this all lead? Simple. MAGA ain't built to last. It was built to be a movement of defiance, a moment of rebellion against the establishment. But when you spend all your time burning bridges, eventually you run out of places to go. Trump held it together for as long as he could, but he ain't immortal. And once he's out the game, there's going to be too many cooks in the kitchen. The different factions within MAGA are already sharpening their knives, and when the time comes, it's going to be a problem. So yeah, Destiny might be onto something here. The fractures are real, the infighting is real, and at some point, it all got to come to a head. The movement that prided itself on being unapologetically American is about to learn a hard truth. When you build something on chaos, you better be ready for it to collapse under its own weight. And trust me, the popcorn gonna be ready when it does.